So, sir, you talk about sum insured and coverage majorly, and what coverage is important for people, right?
Correct.
And appropriate coverage is very, very important.
Mm.
So, in choosing that, though two things come basically. Ki
Yeah.
one is either people can increase their coverage at the time of renewal, or they can go ahead with the super top up of these top up
Correct.
things, right? So,
Yeah.
which is better?
Yeah. And there is a third one also. When you're buying a new policy, at that time also
Ha,
you could
yes.
maybe buy a big one big policy, or you could
Hmm.
buy a policy which is a combo, right?
Yeah.
तो वो भी है. हाँ, this is a very important topic because we keep talking about
Hmm.
higher coverage, and then these are the two options that people keep hearing about. So it's good to demystify this. So very logical or technical answer to this question, right?
Hmm.
An ideal situation, you should always have one policy, right?
Okay.
जिसमें आप पूरा coverage ले लो. The reason is that when you have just one policy, logistically managing the policy becomes very easy.
Okay.
Managing renewals become very easy. Managing claims become very easy, right? The other is
Mm-hmm.
that when you buy one large sum insured from one insurer,
Mm-hmm.
you also can get better benefits from that insurer, because insurer also tier their benefits. Like
Okay.
5 lakhs में मैं कुछ दूंगा, 10 lakhs में I will give more, 50 lakhs में I will give more. Like for example, free medical checkups होते हैं
Okay.
policies में,
Got it.
right? So if you buy a 50 lakh cover, the insurer may give you really really good benefits on free medical checkup versus 10 lakhs versus 5 lakhs, right?
Got it.
तो
Got
वैसे
it.
benefits आपके अलग हो सकते हैं. तो एकदम technically या ideally देखें तो you should
Hmm.
always have one policy, and you should just continue with one policy. But obviously, buying one policy can be expensive. The sum insured
Okay.
cost
Mm-hmm.
per lakh sum insured, per 5 lakh, per 10 lakh sum insured, it somehow turns out to be more expensive compared to when you look at it from a base plus super top up where you buy two policies,
Got it.
right? The reason for this will like quickly and make people understand why
Sure.
it is different is because the pricing of a super top up policy
Mm-hmm.
is based on the probability of someone making a claim of a amount which is higher than a certain amount, right? मतलब मैं जब 5 लाख के ऊपर का कवर दे रहा हूँ आपको, तो उसकी प्रोबेबिलिटी इतनी कम हो जाती है. इंश्योरर्स बेसिकली प्राइस इंश्योरेंस बेस्ड ऑन टू थिंग्स, फ्रीक्वेंसी एंड सिवियरिटी,
Okay.
राइट?
Okay.
फ्रीक्वेंसी मतलब कितनी बार क्लेम आएगा, सिवियरिटी मतलब कितना बड़ा क्लेम आएगा. सो इफ you look at it, frequency is low and severity is even high, right? Insurers can price the product much better,
Okay.
right? Because the risk is high. Why? Because people buy insurance for that only. But frequency बहुत कम है, right? So insurers are able to price it very well, right? So in specific case of super top up क्या हो रहा है कि the threshold being there कि 5 लाख के तक तो मैं claim आएगा ही नहीं मेरे को, insurance company will not get a claim. The premium is much cheaper for that 5 lakh के ऊपर का sum insured का coverage to let's say 1 crore or let's say 50 lakhs or whatever, right?
Got it.
And when you combine two, typically you can save around 10 to 15% of the premium. So if you buy a 50 lakh cover
Okay.
versus you buy a 10 plus 40 lakh cover, you will save that kind of amount, right?
Understood.
So it's a trade-off between convenience,
Mm-hmm.
between getting those additional medical test benefits versus being very easy to claim from one policy versus saving that वो आएगा एक बार, मतलब जब भी claim आएगा तभी, that inconvenience of that admin of that time, that effort, versus every year you have to pay 15% more is the call people have to take.
Got it. Got it.
And
Got it.
that is a personal call. Nobody can tell you which is right, which is wrong, because it is nothing is wrong in this, nothing is right in this. It's a call based on this cost benefit analysis.
Understood.
There is one more area by which typically now having a super top up is becoming more and more relevant. So if you see, health insurance costs are increasing significantly. Everybody knows कि आज हमको बहुत बार लोग पूछते हैं कि the way health insurance costs are increasing. Today I am seeing my father not being able to afford the policy.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
paying the
Yeah.
premium for that policy. But when I get old, not necessarily I want to depend on my son to or my daughter to pay my premium. I want to pay on my own.
Yeah.
And if it becomes unaffordable and I don't have income at that time and I have to pay it from my savings or my wealth, it can become a very complicated situation. तो जो मेरे पेरेंट्स के साथ हो रहा है मैं पे कर रहा हूँ, बट मैं मेरे साथ जब होगा आई विल हैव अ मेजर इशू ऑफ इट. हाउ विल आई अफोर्ड दिस? Right? I'm seeing it happening with my parents. It is going to happen. I'm also going to become old. I'm also going to happen. तो ये होगा कैसे? तो practical कैसे है? Health insurance देने का मतलब क्या हुआ? I want to buy it when I'm old, right? And I should be able to afford it at that time. तो इस केस में बहुत interesting एक अभी solution बन गया है on its own. Is that what people do is that they buy a 10 lakh base policy and a top up, super top up of let's say 90 lakhs, so 10
Hmm.
के ऊपर 1 crore का cover.
Hmm.
And basically what the strategy is this, which is very simple strategy, is that you continue both these policies
Mhm.
for long period. In a given situation, in your old age, if the premiums are high, right, for the policies, for both the policies, typically the premium, the share of premium, the total premium that you will pay, the share of that premium for the base policy will be very high, right? Because वो
Okay.
0 से 10 lakhs कवर कर रहा है आपको,
100%.
और वो दूसरा पॉलिसी हो 10 लाख के बाद कवर कर रहा है, उसकी प्रोबेबिलिटी जो हमने बात की वो कम है. So what you could do at that time is that 10 lakhs का policy you could drop and continue with the 10 lakh 1 to 1 crore policy. In this what happens, it's like a reverse stop loss, right? मतलब कि आपने 10 लाख तक आप बोल रहे हो कि उतना लॉस मैं कवर कर लूँगा मेरे वेल्थ से, मेरे सेविंग्स से. इन्फ्लेशन इतना बढ़ जाएगा और मेरी सेविंग्स या मेरा माई वेल्थ विल बी सो मच दैट आई विल बी एबल टू अब्जॉर्ब 10 lakhs ऑफ कॉस्ट ऑन माई ओन, एंड उसके ऊपर का लॉस विच कैन एक्चुअली शेक अप माई फाइनेंसेस विल बी कवर्ड बाई इंश्योरेंस. So I will be able to afford health insurance.
Yeah.
At the same time, I will be able to afford healthcare also.
Okay, understood. Anything else which a customer should know of apart from the premium benefit and this dropping off when the premium
Yeah.
might rise? Anything else in the current scenario? Because second benefit is after 20-30 years, right?
Correct.
It's
It's not a benefit, it's more like a strategy.
strategy, yeah.
And it's like a long-term strategy where you are basically kind of hedging the risk of
Yeah.
having to pay very high premiums और वहाँ पे फंस गए. Like what if an insurer, you buy a one policy of 1 crore and it blocks downgrade, right? It should not. मतलब मैंने 1 crore का एक ही पॉलिसी खरीदा, I buy only 1 crore policy and it blocks my downgrade or does not
it can
reduce
happen.
premium. I'm saying what if it does it? We don't know the scenarios of that happen after 20 years.
Okay.
So if the downgrade is not possible, this is possible. Right? That is one scenario that you should understand, that this is definitely possible. Dropping a policy, not paying premium is possible.
It's
So
possible.
that's why it's a strategy.
Understood.
But you asked a question which is कि और क्या क्या चीजें होनी चाहिए?
Anything else which a customer
Yeah, so
should
two
know
things
of?
in super top up that make a lot of sense to look at. I mean, this is not the topic, but we'll quickly cover it.
Sure.
Is one is that try to buy from the same insurer.
Okay.
Right, because buying from the same insurer, even if you have two policies, your insurer is the same, so claim will be much easier to manage. Because let's say if there is one large claim that comes where you have to use the base policy and super top up policy, because it's from the same insurer, the claim will get processed much easier because दोनों एक ही पास है, एक तो वो है. दूसरा है buying it in the same month is also very important. Okay, because how a policy works, base policy works, is it's from one date to another date, and the claims that happen during this period, right, will be taken into account for the super top up policy also.
Okay,
right?
got it. Yeah.
So अगर मेरा overlap हो गया, I'm starting a policy from 1st Jan,
Okay.
31st December, which is a 10 lakh cover, and I have another policy which is also from 1st Jan, which is the super top up policy till 31st December. Then whenever that 5 lakh gets over or that 10 lakhs get over, that same period it gets over,
Yeah, got it.
my super top up gets triggered in the same year because of that overlap. But let's say if my base policy starts from 1st Jan to 31st December and my super top up starts from 1st June to 30th, let's say 31st May,
31st May.
then the calculations of this sum insured, right, my base policy gets exhausted between 1st of Jan to 31st August,
Okay.
right? But my super top up starts from 1st June onwards. So the super top up is going to calculate cost from 1st June to 31st August to find out if that 10 lakhs has got exhausted or not for the policy to get triggered for a claim.
Okay.
है ना? Because मैं super top up policy जो है वो ये बोल रहा है कि मेरे period में from 1st June to 31st May the expenses should be more than 10 lakhs for me to trigger and pay
Get
you
triggered.
money.
Yeah.
But if your base policy starting from 1st Jan
Yeah.
and your 1st Jan से 31st June के 1st June के बीच में ही आपका 6 लाख रुपए खर्चा हो गया, एंड देन 1st June से 31st August के बीच में 2 लाख का खर्चा, 5 लाख का खर्चा हो गया. You've crossed the threshold
Yeah.
in your base policy of 10 lakhs. Your 1 lakh is now payable. But in your super top up policy, it has not crossed 10
It
lakhs.
is only 5 lakh.
It's crossed whatever amount. I'm sorry, but I've not
6
been able
plus
to
5,
follow the
हाँ,
calculation.
yeah.
हाँ, so it will not trigger. So having it in the same overlapping period is very important.
Understood. Got it. Apart from that, like this waiting period, etc., exclusions which you talked about, that will also
वो तो होगा,
वो भी होगा, right?
Waiting period होगा, but if you, that's why मतलब buying super top up and all that, you should do it in the early age only. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि आपका waiting period खत्म हो जाना चाहिए. They should not be like you should not buy a super top up policy at a time when you need the coverage. You should buy it much
Hmm.
earlier so that आपका सारा all the waiting periods have
Okay.
got completed.
Got it, got it.
Yeah.
Apart from that, many people have this question in their mind, which we might have covered somewhere, but 90% of the people, viewers who are watching, they might be working somewhere, right? They would be having corporate policies.
Yeah.
तो उसमें लोग सोचते हैं कि I have a corporate policy, let's go ahead and buy a super top up.
Yeah, you can do that.
That combo is also like getting famous currently.
Yes. So in this situation, you have to be very clear that if you ever leave your job and you start on your own, or you're separated from the company for some reason or the other, then that cost will have to be payable by you, right? अगर आप वो cost खुद pay कर सकते हो year over year, then it makes sense.
Logical.
But typically a lot of people miscalculate this. A lot of people feel कि 10 lakhs मेरे company से sum insured मिला है मुझे, 5 लाख मेरे company से sum insured मिला है, and I will use, let's say, the remaining 95 lakhs का I'll buy a policy. But let's say year over year I have claims which are less than 5 lakhs only, and I have lost the job or I'm not working anywhere. My super top up is not going to trigger only. I have to pay from my own pocket till then. Like I have a policy, corporate policy for 2025. I have left my job. Now I am on my own. I have a 5 lakh के ऊपर top up 95 lakh तक, मतलब basically 1 crore का policy. Every year I have, let's say, this is just a example for people to understand. Every year I am making some hospitalization claim, but it is less than 5 lakhs. So my savings is going to get eroded. My super top up is not going to get triggered, and you will have to pay from your own. So that fund that you're thinking of कि मैं खुद के जेब से pay करूँगा is not 5 lakhs. It's multiples of that.
Understood.
Yeah.
It will be based upon कि if I leave the job,
Yeah.
if I start on my own. Got it. Understood. Thanks, Mavi. Got the understanding.
Cool.